we have the Washington Football Wizards coming up, of course. We're going to break that down. But Mike McCarthy has press availability, like I said. So we're going to get into some of the things that they were asking him, some of the things that, you know, he was talking about or whatnot. Let's just kind of run around here. Let's jump around. Let me curate this. He was asked about Tyler Smith and you know, the first couple of weeks that he's having. And me and Flista King had an interesting conversation in the group chat, Will Steele. I don't know if you want to be a part of that show, because once you get off at 5, you know, you don't just be wanting to clock back in. But me and Flitz are definitely going to have a show about should we have to apologize for Tyler Smith and Micah Parsons or whatever. We're going to talk about that after this sound clip. We're going to play this Mike McCarthy on Tyler Smith.
Definitely. I mean, a toss crack, you know, him out there and, you know, he blocks 2 guys and, you know, gets a third there on the cleanup. But yeah, I mean, athletically, it was never a question. He just needed to play. I mean, if you could see him in a classroom environment, you know, and I just, you know, credit his mom, and, you know, as far as being an educator, because you can see his approach, his process. He's very organized, very detailed in how he approaches it. So, you know, he has a high understanding for a young player, but he just needs to play. And that's really as simple as that. So, I mean, the technique and fundamentals, you know, the extra time that he puts in with the coaches, you know, I think Jason Peters has been an excellent add to just, you know, reinforce the little things in the areas of technique and fundamentals and experience and awareness. So I think he's done a really good job of improving in some area each week.
They just say he needs to play. He needs to play, right? And I think that's some of the mindset of, you know, why he's probably going to be the tackle moving forward. Will Steele, you know, I think that, you know, most fans, especially Voch, I'm like, yo, you know, Mike, just, you know, look at his physical skill set. Just put him at guard and let him be great at guard. But what I think they're thinking is, yeah, but with his physical skill set and his, you know, ability to learn and pick up technique on the fly, that maybe he could take those physical abilities and clean up whatever it was that we saw on that film at Tulsa, which is why I'm not apologizing. And he can apply that to being a great tackle in the National Football League. Tyler's not there yet. He may be a great guard right now, but maybe in their mindset, leave Jason Peters at left guard, and we'll have a conversation about left guard later. Will Steele, but just let Tyler Smith continue to play, and he'll continue to pick up on things to be a better left tackle by next year. Is that something that you picked up from that also?
Yeah, I think another thing that we just don't know when they come in is like how smart are these kids? You know, because his IQ is extremely high, and we found that out pretty quick. And I was like, oh. Sure. Okay, you know, he's got the physical ability. Now, can he put it together? And then you're working with Duke Manyweather, and you hear about hands getting better and things like that. And you see the improvement there. Is he all the way there? Of course he's not all the way there yet. He's young. He's a rookie. But, you know, I think by the season's end, because he's probably going to play the entire season, we'll be looking at next year, and we'll be feeling – we should feel good now, but we'll be feeling secure long term.
The show that I'm going to try to put together, I don't know how we're going to make this work, but I'm going to try to get Flitz and Jeff together just so we can have that conversation, because those are my draft guys, of course. And you know, we was really heavy into this whole thing, man. This whole Tyler Smith would be great at guard. There's a lot of people in Cowboy Nation that think that we hated the player. We love the player for what we wanted him to play at. It was the pick, you know what I mean? It was taking someone that didn't have tackle traits that we thought was going to be a cool guard. Then there's the idea that we can find other guards, and you know, us spending that draft capital on a guard with guys like Nakobe Dean and George Karlaftis on the board, and that's just what I was thinking, right? But I would love to know, what the hell does Tyler Smith and guys like Micah Parsons, right? What do those dudes do to close that gap between their last season of college film and their first season of National Football League? What do they do to close that gap?
I think when you have two physically gifted guys like that, first of all, they are – I don't think anybody argued Tyler Smith being one of the most athletic offensive linemen in the draft, right? So he has the physical tools. But then you combine it with their mental. And a lot of people didn't think that about Micah because they kept focusing on the off-field stuff, not realizing how smart this kid actually is. So if somebody can do multiple things, because don't get it twisted, Tyler, I think right now, if you put him at right tackle, he could do it. Left tackle, he could do it. Left guard, he could do it. How good is a different story, but I know he can do it because he's showing us and proving it to us. Same thing with Micah. Micah's played everywhere his entire life. You know, he got to college as a defensive end. And they say, we got enough defensive ends. Can he play linebacker? Oh, wow, he can play linebacker. And in 2 seasons, he was an all-world, all-American linebacker. And I think we just, what's your word? Don't get numb to greatness. I think we got numb to how great that transition from being a halfback and a hand in the dirt defensive end to linebacker in 2 years being All-American. We kind of got numb to it. So these dudes are extremely intelligent, football smarts, and they're ridiculously athletically gifted. I don't think everybody's like that. Evan Neal, for example, I don't think he's more athletic than Tyler Smith, but I don't know what his IQ is like. But Evan Neal was Alabama, top pick or whatever. But I'd argue after watching them, I bet you they'd rather take Tyler Smith.
Oh yeah, 100%, man, 100%. And not just Evan Neal to single him out because D-Law just beat the shit out of him. Yeah. But Charles Cross isn't playing like this. Guys like Ikem Okwonu's not playing like this. I felt like Trevor Penning wasn't gonna be good, you know what I mean? But he's not playing like this neither. So I do think that there's something to that. But we'll cross that road whenever we get there. We're not leaving the offensive line conversation. They asked Mike McCarthy. First they acknowledged that Connor McGovern is starting to take a few, just limited reps at practice or whatnot, starting to work his way back into this thing. Here's what he had to say about the left guard position.
I mean, that's an excellent question. I mean, you're trying to. We got tough, good decisions to make moving forward. I think when players are getting healthy, who's on the 48. I mean, we're going to have disappointed players on Sunday, and that's the tough part of not being able to address everybody. So, but we'll continue to work the week and we'll have a plan going into the game, but we'll also have the ability to react to how the game goes.
I hope we don't overthink this left guard thing, Will. I really hope we don't overthink this left guard thing.
What you think,
Jason Peters? I think we just got to roll with Peters, man. I think Peters is just naturally the better dude. I've seen Connor McGovern. I know what Connor McGovern is. And even when Connor McGovern is having a good camp, Connor McGovern still is like a solid swing interior guy, which is fine. And if anything was to happen to Biotis, that'll be a thing for Connor McGovern also. We see Fournier had a better game last week, but Fournier's overall body of work, we kind of know what he is now also. This whole Jason Peters thing, Jason Peters is getting the timing down away from being much better at guard than Connor McGovern. So I don't want to overthink this thing necessarily, and we may slightly disagree, not me and Will, but me and like them or whatever. We may slightly disagree on who should be playing, tackling guard between Tyler and Jason or whatever. But there's no conversation to be had about, okay, well, who's better out of Jason Peters and Connor McGovern? And I hope that we don't try to overthink this thing a little bit. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm ready to just rip the Band-Aid off. I think we saw enough to build on, or at least enough to say, all right, let's see what you got for a full game, Jason. It wasn't like it was a great game at left guard, but it wasn't poor by any stretch of the imagination. There was stuff to build on there. So, and I just think the upside with Jason Peters can potentially be higher, even at 40, right? Because he's that type of talented dude. And if it doesn't work, guess what? You can always fall back to Connor McGovern. So, because we know what we got in Connor McGovern, maybe it's a fan in me of, is the grass greener, right? We always battle with that. Right now, that's happening at a different position. But is the grass greener with Jason Peters long term in the season, as opposed to Connor McGovern? I'm with it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Let's see what we got.
I even see in the chat box here, King Element says, Voch finally admit we should stick with Peters. I mean, and we talked about this yesterday, man. The more information you get, the more, the more that you have to kind of, bend with it, right? Your opinion must be malleable. Go ahead.
I will say this. If they happen to be open to it flipping, I would still 100% be down with that.
Hey, let's not get it twisted. If we roll out and they say, oh, Tyron Smith is getting healthy and we plan on playing him at left tackle, so let's use a few games to get Tyler back acclimated to left guard, and let's just switch him to get ready for that switch, then that makes it, hey, cool, let's run it. But the new information presented to me is that, okay, well, Jason Peters can live at left guard. That's one thing. And two, it seems like everybody's talking about the idea that, hey, he's getting his lumps right now so that he can be good for the long run, so that, he's playing. So by the time we get to November, December, and look, me saying the whole Tyron Smith thing, I don't think Tyron Smith, I think he's about to retire.
I'm not even talking about Tyron Smith. I'm just saying if there was an option that they were going to flip it, then that conversation could still be had. But that option was shut down a week and a half ago when Peters was seen and told that he was going to be taking left guard snaps. Now you got to move on. The conversation doesn't matter anymore. Now it's about, all right, let's see what Jason Peters got out there. And he was solid enough to see, all right, let's see how much more he can do, because we're not going back. Like, Tyler Smith's not playing guard, y'all. It's not happening no more. So, that conversation is obsolete.
And if anything, if there's anything that we learn quickly about being Cowboy fans, and I even refer to us as elevated Cowboy fans, because there's some Cowboy fans that don't even know who the hell Matt Forniak is, right? So we are elevated Cowboy fans. There's something that we got to get used to that, hey, is what they would do and it's what I would do. And and those are two totally different things. And when there's a clear distinction on what they're going to do, then we have to change our opinion, Will Steele.
Yeah.
And if there's no chance in hell that Jason Peters is gonna play left tackle at all, then all right, cool. Then I gotta change my opinion. All right, well, hey, then Voch, can Tyler Smith play 18 games for you at left tackle? Yes, he can. Sure, he can. Will he be better at guard? In my opinion, yes. But that motherfucker got tackle, you know what I mean? So, that's just what we got to live with. I just hope we don't overcomplicate things with the whole Conor McGovern coming back thing. The whole, oh, well, he's been here, seniority. He earned it in the offseason. Fuck all that, man. Continuity don't mean nothing to me. And also, there's another element, too, to this, Will Steele. I like the idea that, yes, there's the locker room. There's the film room, classroom. There's the weight room, whatever. I like the idea that on the field, after a play, Tyler could just walk up to Jason and be like, hey, man, what you think about? And then he could be like, well, do. Also, when week 6 and week 16 come along, Jason Peters could be like, hey, man, Brandon Graham like to do this little, watch that shit. Watch that shit, this motherfucker. Like, watch this sneaky motherfucker. You know what I mean? So I like him being on the field with Tyler Smith. So that's just that.